What is the secret behind the Russian plane that got downed near Ukraine? It was a Russian military aircraft. It had 74 people on board, including 65 Ukrainian prisoners of war, or POWs. Curiously enough, the plane crashed near the Russia-Ukraine border, killing everyone on board. And immediately after the crash, Russia accused Ukraine of downing that jet. Meanwhile, the president of Ukraine, who neither confirmed nor denied the accusation, has accused Moscow of playing with lives. So what really happened to that plane? How does a giant 100-ton cargo plane just crash out of the sky? How did it crash just 20 miles from the border with Ukraine? And if Moscow is right, why would Ukraine kill its own people? The mysterious Russian plane crash has raised big questions, but here's what we know so far. The aircraft was an Ilyushin IL-76. It is a large military transport plane designed to carry troops, cargo, or weapons. Now, Russia says that beside the 65 Ukrainian prisoners of war, there were 6 Russian crew members, 3 Russian soldiers on board. The plane crashed in a huge fireball, killing all 74 people on board. The Ukrainian military intelligence has said that it had no reliable information about who was aboard the crashed plane. Where exactly did the crash happen? Well, the plane crashed just northeast of Belgorod, close to the border with Ukraine. The Belgorod region has been the target of frequent cross-border attacks by Ukraine. But this, if the toll is confirmed, would be by far the deadliest single incident of its kind to take place inside Russian territory in the 2-year-old war. And what do we know about the prisoner exchange? Russia's defense ministry has said that the prisoners of war exchange was due to take place at the Kolotilovka checkpoint. It is located at the border between Russia and Ukraine. Russian MOD is saying that the plane that was shot down had been flying from the Chaklovsky Air Base near Moscow to Belgorod. That's where it crashed. Now, what this means essentially is that the jet would have been in the final stage of its flight. And Kiev, on its part, has stopped short of acknowledging that it fired at the plane. The Ukrainian military, in fact, confirmed that a swap was planned for Wednesday and that it had met all the terms for it. Kiev says Russia had neither informed them about the means of transport for the prisoners of war nor the route that they would take. It said that unlike in previous exchanges, Ukraine had not been asked to guarantee the security of airspace at any specific time. In fact, a Russian lawmaker has said that no Russian fighter jets were escorting this particular plane. And why is that? Because the flight had been agreed with the Ukrainians in advance. And Russia says that a second IL-76 transport plane carrying around 80 more Ukrainian soldiers had managed to turn around. So then what or who caused that crash? And remember, this is not the first time that both sides have swapped prisoners, of course. Several such exchanges have taken place in the past. As we mentioned before, Russia has accused Ukraine of shooting down the plane. Russian radar had reportedly detected the launch of 2 missiles from Ukraine's Kharkiv region. Earlier, the Russian lawmaker and former general Andrei Katapolov had spoken of 3 missiles. He said that they were either the American Patriot missiles or the German-made IRIS-Ts. He said the investigators would determine exactly what kind of missiles were used when they recovered fragments from the crash site. And on the other side, Ukrainian military intelligence did not confirm hand in the alleged shooting down of the plane. Instead, they countered Russia's accusation, saying that it could be, quote-unquote, a planned action to destabilize the situation in Ukraine and weaken the international support for the state. President Zelensky called for full clarity on the circumstances of the crash. Listen in for yourself.
It is evident that the Russians are playing with the lives of Ukrainian prisoners, with the feelings of their families and with the emotions of our society. It is necessary to establish all clear facts to the extent possible, considering that the plane crash occurred on Russian territory, beyond our control.
He said we must wait for the facts to be established. He said he has coordinated the government departments to look into the various aspects of the crash, something made difficult by the fact that it did occur on Russian soil after all. Nevertheless, Zelensky's statement leads us to one question. If not Kiev, then who attacked the aircraft? Hours after the plane crashed, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov called it a terrorist attack.
On the morning of January 24 Moscow time, a terrorist attack was committed, as a result of which, in the area of the Belgorod region, a Russian transport aircraft Il-76 was shot down, which was carrying out a flight to transport 65 military personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine from the Moscow region to Belgorod, who were accompanied by 3 Russian officers and a crew of 6 people. They all died.
Now, even as Russia and Ukraine trade barbs, there are details that just do not add up. Just look at the footage of the crash. It looks like it was in one piece before it was brought down. If missiles had struck the plane, it would certainly not have been in one piece. Further, some experts have asked, was the plane even carrying the prisoners of war? Reports point out how the crash site did not show a lot of bodies. And here's the kicker. According to reports, the list of prisoners that the Russians claimed were on the plane include names of prisoners of war already exchanged by Russia. But then one cannot rule out Ukraine's role as well. Shortly after the plane crashed, 2 Ukrainian news outlets, Ukrainska Pravda and RBC Ukraine, said that the military had downed the plane, citing anonymous sources, the report claiming that the plane was carrying Russia's S-300 missiles. Of course, we cannot independently verify those claims and counterclaims. The 2 Ukrainian news outlets also took down those reports. But what this does show is that Kiev could very well be responsible for the crash, perhaps. And that should not surprise anyone. It certainly does not surprise us. You see, Ukraine's Kharkiv is heavily defended. It's a heavily defended region. And why should it not be? Kiev's Western allies have sent some of their most formidable air defense systems, including one of the Air Force's 3 batteries of American-made Patriot missiles. Last year in May, in fact, a Patriot battery shot down Russia's Su-35 fighter jet. This was over Bryansk, located 70 miles from the Ukrainian border. And then in December, Ukraine downed 3 Russian Su-34s over Russia-occupied southern Ukraine. And last week itself, Ukrainian air defenses shot down one of Russia's most coveted Berev A-50 radar early warning planes over the Sea of Azov. What exactly happened on the 24th of January? Only time and an independent body-led investigation will reveal. Whether or not that happens, we will have to wait and watch. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.